Okay, AI in video games. It's a fairly easy equation to make, right?
Well, it certainly has been up until this point because the industry has been doing AI the same way for a very long time. And one of the reasons why we hooked up with Storybricks and started pioneering into different ways of doing it was because, quite honestly, AI has become incredibly predictable and a lot of times static in these games. And our whole goal, where we wanted to go with Everquest Next, was to make an ever-changing world that was dynamic and reacting to what the players did. And to be able to do that, we had to develop a very, very different kind of system.
Now, you said during the presentation, it's a very abstract thing. You're talking about what is an orc? What is an orc's life, to use your example. Can you elaborate a little bit on that?
Sure. So the reason why we wanted to make something more dynamic is that you don't play through a single scenario. You play in a world, a living world, in which orcs do stuff when you're not chasing them or killing them, so that it gives context to what you're doing to them or with them on how they harm villagers, for instance, and why villagers would need your help. So in order to do that, you have to define what an orc is, what his goals are, what drives him, and how you can affect his behavior by chasing him around, by patrolling, so that you prevent him from coming back to a place that you've liberated. And so we have to build a system of values, of things that he cares about. If he cares about, if an orc cares about his own safety, how can the player make him feel unsafe and he wants to be elsewhere? And that's a whole idea, building a vocabulary, a language in which we can express these needs, these drives.
So you guys are basically working through, I know you didn't want to talk about specific races or anything like that in EverQuest, but you guys are literally having to go through every single enemy type in the game and create these sets of values. So a bit easy, right?
In a lot of ways, it's simpler than doing it the old way. It's the underpinnings of how the pieces work together that is the interesting complex bits as far as the code and stuff is involved. But once all that stuff is set up, designing these AI templates, the way that things think is as easy as dragging flowchart pieces together and making what is effectively a sentence of behavior. It's actually really, really simple to implement and do from a design perspective. When players get their hands on this stuff, it's intuitive, but it is complex code.
The hardest part was coming up with a metaphor that made sense for the designers and the AI programmers. So it's not so much about describing all the creatures, it's saying, okay, can we have all the concepts that would express everything that people in this world care about? And this was hard work, it took months. But now we have that, and we can tell the stories about this.
You said with Landmark, the AI will be sort of rolled into Landmark over the course of, well, in the near future. And it will initially be dumb, but will get smarter as you see basically what you guys are doing behind the closed doors, and that's being implemented in the game. I'm just curious to know what you guys feel like. The fact is, you're being very open. You said you're very transparent with the fans, with the players about what you guys are doing and showing, giving the content tools and everything. But how does it feel with the AI gradually polishing it and, you know, cleaning it up? How does that feel, showing that to the public and the public being aware of what you're doing every step of the way?
We're not going to show something to the players if we don't think it's fun. Yeah. But I think that we have a very, very good plan for how to roll things out so that it progressively gets more and more intelligent and more complex in its behavior, not necessarily in the way that the players perceive it, but it'll become more, richer and richer as it goes. The mechanisms by which we're rolling it, I think everybody will be vastly entertained. Because our job is not just to create a game and run through alpha and debug it and everything like that. Honestly, we're a free-to-play game. Our goal is that we're free to play, and gamers are gamers. If they come in and they play something and they don't like it, they're gone forever. They're never coming back to give it a second chance. That's just the way the world works. So even during our alpha and beta processes, we have to make sure that the game is fun every day when the people log in, and the AI will not be broken. It will be gradually better and better. Yeah.
And we've learned a lot seeing the architectural tools roll out and how the players embrace them. And there's no reason why we would do anything different with the AI. revealing layers of complexity instead of a big tool that you have to learn at once, but integrate the AI with the current experience. So that's the plan.
Excellent. Guys, thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Yeah, you bet. Thanks.